All right, guys, what's going on? Well, this evening, I am working on getting this chassis underneath my beam. I need to get the trolley, the hoist and everything. I need to get over the center line of this chassis because basically where I'm at is I have reworked my transmission crossmember. I do need to build it up a little bit better. It's not finished. I just got two of the primary pieces of it done, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But really my next step is I have to work on the front and rear axles and get them into place so I can build the suspension. And in order to do so, I am going to turn the table and use the hoist and the beam to move my suspension pieces, the front axle and rear axle, up into place. Really that comes down to me just hating working on the floor. I hate it. If I can work on my welding table and work up this high, I'd much rather get that done. So this evening, I'm going to clean up some stuff. I'll show you what I accomplished, and actually a little mishap I had with some stuff leaking from upstairs onto the table. And we'll move all this stuff around and see if I can't show you what we're doing with the suspension. So this was nice and fun. All of this rust that's here, it's just splattered all over the table. That all came from that spot right there. What that was, and I didn't realize at the time, was actually a bottle of bleach, a 1 gallon bottle of bleach that some stuff shifted in a box. I didn't realize the bleach was in the box, and it basically crushed the 1 gallon jug of bleach and was leaking very, very slowly over the course of a couple days, and I came in to find this nice, pretty mess. So, yep, now I get to clean all the rust off all this stuff. Fortunately, some of it is not needed, but yeah. I needed to prep all this stuff, so I'm not terribly upset about it, but always pays to fix the problem when you first see it, because I saw that bleach, I saw something leaking in a box probably the day before all of this actually began, and I should have stopped and fixed it. I was just in the middle of getting something else done, so now I get to clean up the mess. So before I bother to clean all this stuff up, I'll show you where I'm at with the transmission crossmember. As you saw in the video earlier, I hand sketched this first, and then I went ahead and knocked it out real quick in Fusion 360 and made up some patterns for it. And now where this is at and what will happen, this is going to be a replacement for this front crossmember, or the front plate of this crossmember. And if you look over here, it's inside the frame, it's inboard of the frame, and it's got holes in it. So I've done that to the front. This is the most forward piece of this crossmember. And I've also done the same to the back or rearward crossmember as well. So I'll be able to put some riv nuts in the frame. I'll drill into the frame and put some riv nuts in here on front and rear. And be able to bolt this whole crossmember in and out when I need to. And again, just to go back over why I would do that, my tunnel for my transmission in the sheet metal on the interior side that you're going to see is going to be super close over top of the transmission. So I'm going to leave it just enough to basically hopefully be able to put some heat shield in there, some sort of a aluminum type of sound deadening, heat isolation stuff. And that all is in the name of trying to get as much foot room as possible. But what that does is when you try to put an engine in at an angle like you always have to get past a few other components, that will not allow the transmission, the bell housing portion of the transmission, to be up close to the top of the opening for the transmission. So I'd like to be able to drop the tail shaft down in order to pull the motor out, and that will require this crossmember to be able to bolt out and come out of the car itself. So, all right, so I just need to touch on this because I realized I didn't actually include it in my other video. The completion of the motor mounts, which I do still have to finish weld these. However, this portion of things, which is the steel housing for the bushings or the isolators are now welded to the chassis itself. This is the case on both sides, and I need to finish weld this. I'm probably going to TIG weld this. I may very well plate the top of these things just because I cannot get inside of those, how tight they are. I can't get inside there and actually, weld the inside. So I'll probably just box it all in, clean it all up so it looks nice. And yeah, that's what we got there. So those did get completed. Those were set with the actual engine and the crossmember, transmission crossmember and mount in place. So all of the components to actually center the engine and set the engine height were in place when all of these mounts were set. So yep, that's where we're at with that. Well, I managed to get the whole shop moved around, as you saw, and I have actually hoisted the axle up with fun times in the middle of that. And really where I'm at right now is I've been trying to sort out how much my front buggy spring is going to compress really for like a normal sedan like this with a 350 in the front end of it, and fenderless. Basically, I don't know how much that buggy spring is going to flatten out. So what I've done actually, this cross member, as you see, it's got a belly in it towards the bottom. That's intended to, don't mind the tabs on the ends of this, I just put those there to help guide this thing and get centered up. But as you can see here, I've got those slots that are in this plate, and really what that is intended to be is my spring mounting surface, and I put it up inside by an inch so that I can actually hide shims, spacers underneath here so that the spring will sit up inside this, and if I need to space it to get some more ride height out of it, I can space it under here and you'll never see it. So that's kind of where I'm headed with this, but I still, honestly, I don't know how much this spring is going to compress. So I can try to calculate all I want on this cross member, but without probably a few test runs, tack this thing in, probably put these tabs on there on the ends like this so that I can have it help support everything. And I could probably put the small block in there and maybe throw another 150 pounds worth of just BS on the front of it, just as a test to see how much the spring is going to compress. I think there is some stuff on speedwaymotors.com like that. Not a plug. I want to say I've seen some stuff there that tells you roughly what to expect out of these springs. This is a single leaf front end, a monoleaf front end spring. Yes, Dylan, I know you don't want me to run it. I may very well not run this spring. We'll see. I've got to sort all that out. Again, this all comes down to the calculations of all of this front end. So I got a little bit of work to do, a little bit of homework to get right in order to make this sit like I want it to. But I am, mark my word, going to make some sort of adjustment ability to the front spring. I want to be able to fine tune my ride height just right. Ideally, I'd have up to 2 inches worth of adjustment, which is quite a bit for a front end buggy spring. It's just going to take some figuring, some engineering. So we'll see what happens. This is where I'm at, and this is probably where I'm going to sign off for this episode. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Seems to be going well. Thanks.